You are not your job description. You are the results you produce. And listen, they know what your job title is. What they might not know is the value you bring that no bullet point could capture. That's your negotiation superpower. Hey, I'm Teen Zekas, your pivot and pay strategist. I help Black women double their income by leveraging their existing skills. I am all about getting Black women paid, whether you're an employee or a business owner. And you're listening to the Getting Black Women Paid podcast. Let's go. Hey. Welcome back to the Getting Black Women Paid podcast. I'm Teen Zekas, career coach, business coach, international speaker, award-winning author, and the founder and CEO of Getting Black Women Paid. Today, we're digging into something that every Black woman needs in her toolbox: negotiation power. Because listen, when we negotiate, we're not just asking for more, we're demanding alignment. We're demanding respect. We're demanding that the value we bring gets met with matching energy and matching compensation. Now, here's the thing: negotiation advice isn't always given with us in mind. So today, I'm sharing 5 powerful negotiation tactics specifically for Black women so you can step into your next negotiation with confidence, clarity, and authority. All right, let's dig into it. The first tactic is simple but powerful. Make them name the first number. I know that might feel uncomfortable, especially if you're excited about the opportunity. But trust me, making them put the first offer on the table gives you the advantage. Here's why. As Black women, we're often conditioned to undervalue ourselves. Not because we aren't brilliant, but because systems have trained us to expect and accept less. If you throw out the first number, you might accidentally undercut yourself when they were ready to offer much more. Let me give you an example from my own life. When I was working as a software engineer, I was making about $100,000 a year and preparing for a parallel move. Same title, same level. In my head, I was hoping to move up to 120K. That felt like a big, solid step. When they finally made the offer, they offered me 140. Y'all, I wanted to say yes, please, and thank you right on the spot. But instead, I followed my own rule. I said, thank you so much. I'd love to see the benefits package in writing and get back to you. And then I got off the phone. Later that day, I saw a tweet that said, Black women, whatever you were going to ask for more. And I was like, damn, now I got to negotiate. So I sat down and did the math. I realized I was leaving about 15K on the table by walking away from my current role mid-year. Things like my bonus, my 401k match, and having to start over on my deductible. I went back and asked for 15K more, and I ended up getting 8. So I started there at $148,000. Imagine if I hadn't negotiated at all, or worse yet, that I had asked for that 120 I was so keen on. Now imagine they made the same offer to a white guy and he did negotiate and I didn't. We would have been walking into that company at different starting lines, and every raise, every bonus, every opportunity would have widened that gap. This is why you make them name the number first. And no matter how good it sounds, no matter how nervous you feel, you can always negotiate from there. And you deserve to. Now listen, one quick thing. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Maybe the application requires you to put a number. Maybe the recruiter presses you during the phone screen and just won't move forward without it. If that happens, it's okay. But here's the key: you are not married to that number. When it's actually time to negotiate, you can say something like, now that I have a clearer understanding of the role and responsibilities, and I've had a chance to conduct more market research, I'm targeting a range closer to X. And while we're on the subject, they do not need to know your current salary. In fact, in many states, it's illegal for employers to ask what you're currently making. And even if they ask anyway, you have options. You can simply say, I'm more interested in understanding the budgeted range for this role. And if they really push, you can tell them. When companies base their offers on current salary instead of market value, it often reinforces existing racial and gender pay gaps. I'd love to focus on the value I bring and the budget for this position. Because your past underpayment is not a valid reason for future underpayment. Your number should reflect the value you bring to the table, not your history. Period. Here's something I want you to ask yourself. If I get a job offer today, what's one phrase I can keep in my back pocket to protect my negotiating power? Here's a sample script. Thank you so much for the offer. I'd love to review the full benefits package and get back to you. And if you had to give a number earlier in the process, you could say something like, now that I understand more about the role and responsibilities and have conducted some market research, I'm targeting closer to X. The second powerful negotiation tactic every Black woman needs to know is use strategic silence. When you make your ask, whether it's for more money, a better title, a signing bonus, say it, then stop. Let it stand. Don't rush to explain. Don't rush to justify. Don't rush to soften the blow. Just let it sit. Silence isn't awkward, it's powerful. It signals that you expect to be taken seriously. It shifts the pressure back onto them to respond on your terms. What most of us do, especially as Black women who have been conditioned to make everyone else feel comfortable, is we rush to fill the silence. We start justifying our ask. We start making ourselves smaller before they even have a chance to say no. But I promise you, the money is in the pause. Here's an example. You say, based on my experience and the responsibilities outlined for this role, I'm targeting a salary closer to $150,000. Then you stop talking. Not, unless that's too much, of course. Not, or I'm flexible if you have a lower budget. Nope. Stop. Let them process it. Because here's the thing. If you rush in to fill the silence, you're almost always talking yourself down. And we are not doing discount dialogue in 2025, okay? Here's a pro tip. If the silence feels too heavy for you, smile, nod, take a slow sip of water if you have to, but let the silence do its job. Consider this question. How comfortable am I with holding space after I say my number? And if the answer is not very comfortable, that's okay. Like anything else, it's a muscle that you can build. Practice with a friend, or literally practice in the mirror. State your ask, then breathe. Count to 5 in your head if you need to. Own that silence. All right, fam, that's 2 powerful tactics you can already start practicing. but we are just getting warmed up. When we come back, we're going to dig into 3 more tactics that can change your whole career trajectory, starting with how to anchor the conversation in your value, not just your job title. Stay with me. You're not going to want to miss this. Hey, sis, real quick. Ever wish you had a coach in your pocket? For those moments when the strategy isn't clear, the doubt creeps in, or the stakes feel high? Whether you're navigating a tough job convo or making big moves in your business, Pocket Coaching with Teen is that support you've been missing. You drop your question in Slack, and I hit you back with strategy, with clarity, with care, usually within 1 business day. It's $197 a month, and right now, when you sign up, you'll get a free 60-minute prosperity power hour to map out your goals. That one-on-one session is normally $497, and it's yours free when you sign up now. So if you're ready to move different in your work, your money, and your purpose, go to www.gettingblackwomenpaid.com/pocket. Again, that's gettingblackwomenpaid.com/pocket. Let's get you the support you actually need. All right, let's get back to the episode. All right, welcome back, lady. Now that you're getting more comfortable with strategic silence, let's move into one of the most game-changing mindset shifts for negotiating. The third powerful negotiation tactic every Black woman needs to know is lead with impact, not just responsibilities. When you're negotiating, whether it's for a new role or a raise, don't just rattle off a list of what you do. Talk about what you've achieved. It's not, I manage social media accounts. It's, under my management, our engagement grew 300% year over year. It's not, I oversee the onboarding process. It's, I cut onboarding time by 40%, improving retention rates for new hires. You are not your job description. You are the results you produce. And listen, they know what your job title is. What they might not know is the value you bring that no bullet point could capture. That's your negotiation superpower. So here's what you'll want to ask yourself. Where have I created measurable impact? And am I ready to highlight it without shrinking? And if your first thought is, but it was a team effort, baby, take your credit. Great leaders collaborate. Great contributors drive outcomes. Your fingerprints are still on the success. Own that. Okay, so we've covered keeping your power during offers, the magic of strategic silence, and leading with impact. And we're still not done yet. The fourth powerful negotiation tactic every Black woman needs to know is negotiate the full package. Salary is important, don't get me wrong, but the salary is only one piece of your full compensation. You also want to be thinking about things like signing bonuses, annual performance bonuses, relocation support, remote or hybrid work options, paid time off, professional development funds, your title, leadership opportunities, tuition reimbursement, retirement matching, stock options, the health benefits. It's the full ecosystem that either supports your success or leaves you quietly drowning. And let me give you a real example. When I was 6 months pregnant, I negotiated for my new employer to waive the 1-year waiting period for full maternity leave benefits. Normally, you had to be there a full year to qualify. but I asked for the policy to be waived as part of my offer negotiation, and they agreed. That small ask saved me thousands of dollars and allowed me to take paid leave when I needed it most. You can do the same thing for tuition reimbursement, professional development, and more. It doesn't always have to come from the salary budget. Sometimes the biggest wins are tucked inside the benefits you customize for yourself. So here's your next reflection. What non-salary items actually matter most to my quality of life and career growth? Maybe it's flexible Fridays. Maybe it's a certification you've been wanting to pursue. Maybe it's maternity leave or leadership training. Know what matters to you before you sit down at the table. All right, fam, we've made it to the final tactic. And this one right here, this is the foundation under everything we've talked about so far. The fifth powerful negotiation tactic every Black woman needs to know is walk in knowing you're the prize. Not the maybe prize, not the only if I'm perfect prize, the prize, period. Now listen carefully. When we're talking about salary, you will never hear me tell you to know your worth. Your worth cannot be measured by a dollar amount. No one owns you. No amount of money can buy you. You are invaluable. So instead of knowing your worth, you need to know you're worthy and that no number is too high. When you walk into a negotiation knowing you're worthy, you don't make yourself small to fit somebody's budget. You don't start negotiating against yourself before they even open their mouth. You walk in with the energy that says, I bring value, and value deserves to be compensated. Here's your final reflection for today. Am I negotiating from fear or from the belief that I am already worthy? Take a second. Say it out loud if you need to. Write it down. Let it get into your spirit. You are the asset. You are the prize. You are the opportunity. All right, before we close out today, let's pull all 5 of these power moves together because you are leaving this episode equipped, confident, and worthy. The 5 powerful negotiation tactics every Black woman needs to know are: 1. Make them name the first number. Protect your power by letting them name the budget, and then negotiate from there. 2. Use strategic silence. Say your ask, then let it breathe. The money is in the pause. 3. Lead with impact, not just responsibilities. Talk about your results, not just your tasks. Bring the receipts. 4. Negotiate the full package. Salary is just one part of the offer. Make sure the whole deal works for you. And 5, walk in knowing you're the prize. You are already worthy. You are the asset, the prize, the opportunity. Listen, your value doesn't decrease because someone can't see it. You are not asking for a favor. You are inviting them to rise to the opportunity of working with you. And if you want even more support building your negotiation muscle, check out my free resources at www.gettingblackwomenpaid.com/resources. Or better yet, schedule a discovery call with me and let's strategize your next move. And fam, make sure you hit that subscribe button because next week we are going even deeper. I'm breaking down 10 creative, non-salary items you can and should be negotiating for in your next offer. Because compensation isn't just about your paycheck. It's about your whole quality of life. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend who deserves to step into her power too. See you next week. Hey, thanks for listening to the Getting Black Women Paid podcast. If you want to hear more episodes like this one, subscribe wherever you're listening now. And if you love what you heard, be sure to leave us a review. And make sure you share this podcast with the incredible Black women in your life so we can continue getting Black women paid. All right, we'll see you in the next one.